Storytime, 2012. I had never done H in my life, and I was in a drug court program in Williamson County, and from the moment they let me in it, they was trying to get me out of it, kind of deal. But anyway, I was in it, and I had a roommate that was a real good friend of mine, and my mom had got put in the hospital on a Thursday, and we didn't know what was going on with her. And Friday, me and him was talking. He said, "Man, I've been thinking about doing a pill." And I said, "Man, why did you say that? We've been sober for a year at this time." And I said, "Well, if you're going to get one, get me one." It's supposed to be the next morning. He was going to get his baby mama, long story, and he was going to try to get some. Well, next morning about 11 o'clock, he came home, and he's like, "Man, I can't find any." And so the subject of H come up, and he said, "Yeah, I'll probably get some of that." So he keeps calling, trying to find some, and can't get none. And he's sitting in the car, and I'm just sitting I'm like kneeled down, my arms on the door or whatever, and his baby mama's with him too. And he says, "Maybe this is God's way of telling us we don't need to be doing this." And about that time, his phone rung, and it was a girl. She said, "Yeah, she could get some." So we go and get it, and I'd never done it before. So anyway, I'd done way less than what they did, and got all messed up, and had to go home. I couldn't hold my head up, and he takes me home, but he's like stalling there, and I said, "What's up, bro? You want me to go with you?" He said, "No, I'm gonna try to get her to give me a piece or whatever, you know what I mean?" And he said, "I'll talk to you later." I said, "All right," and he left. About 7:30, he called me, wanted to know if I wanted some McDonald's, and I said, "Man, I'm still sick from earlier, but go ahead and get it, and maybe I'll eat it later on." And he laughed and said, "All right, love you and see you," and he hung up. Well, 9 o'clock comes, so we had a 9 o'clock curfew, and I was sitting there with this girl, and I said, "Something ain't right, him not being here." So I called his phone, and it rung, and went to voicemail. And I was like, that's not like him. He always answers that phone. And then I tried to call it again, straight to voicemail, like it was off. And I knew right then, in my stomach, I knew something was wrong. I didn't want to speak it, but I figured that he'd already lost his life. And they found him the next day in his car in a store, Mapco, up on Harding Place in Nashville. Some of you probably know the area. You know, only if we'd listen to God, man. But isn't that the way life is? We hear God speaking to us so much, but we don't listen to him. But when things are bad, boy, we cry out. We want to hear all we can, don't we? True story.